Tell me. Tell me one country in Africa that has the most wicked men. Tell me one country in Africa that has men who are so comfortable with dating 15 girls all at the same time and still get away with it. Tell me one country in Africa that has men who are so comfortable with having two wives. No, sorry, not two, but five wives all in one state and still get away with it and still have the audacity to justify the reasons why they did it. Tell me one country in Africa that has men that will scam you as a woman. Tell me, bestie, you have 1 second, gun pointed to your head. Tell me those men in Africa. What country in Africa has those men? Of course, we don't need to think about this one because we all know it's Niger boys. Nigerian men will leave you in the desert without water. Scratch men will leave you in the desert without water. I see men. But Nigerian men, they will leave you in the desert without water to die. Hoshona. Anyways, hi guys, welcome back to yet another dose of Diary of Defi. If you're new, please do hit the button to subscribe. And if you are a customer, a loyal customer, please click on that notification button so that you get notified when I have more of the juicy stories. Anyways, today we're going to talk about my experience of how I was scammed by a Niger boy. Anyways, let's go. This is in 2024. I meet a friend of mine, someone who used to go to my school, my university, but no longer goes there. And he's like, "Hey, we haven't seen each other in a while. Are you free this weekend? I have a friend of mine. We can all go hang out with your friends if you have friends who are available at the time." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll hit up my girl." So I hit up my girl at the time, and we go and meet this person, this people. But this guy picks me up and picks my friend up, and then we meet the other guy in the city in Oita, whatever. So we get there and so we introduce each other and this guy was driving a huge ass car. This guy unahanna verpa kiri, one of the big ones. Anyways, so as a girl you're seeing those things and for me that's a first experience with like seeing those kinds. So I'm like, okay, I see when I and then we introduce each other. So this guy learns that I'm Xhosa, I'm Sotho, I'm from Lesotho, and my friend is South African, right? And apparently he's been in South Africa at some point and Lesotho at some point. And so when I hear this, I get like comfortable around this person. I'm like, okay, maybe he's been around where we're from, so we can relax. Because when the friend told me, oh, my friend, we're meeting a friend of mine and he's Nigerian, I was already like, am I sure I want to do this? But anyways, we go. Anyway, so when we have to go to, because we met at a place a little bit far away from where we were supposed to have dinner, because this was dinner. These people are driving their own cars, right? And there's two girls, two guys. So they're like, okay, who's going in whose car? They show. So and me and my friend are looking at each other. We're like, we don't really want to separate, but what the hell? So even before we were to respond, the guy, the Nigerian guy, and we're gonna call him Mr. Z. Mr. Z goes, you, let's go. You, Lesotho, let's go. He points at me. I'm like, okay, I guess why not? So we go. And so when we're on the way to the restaurant, he plays Afrobeats and excuse me, you I'm like an Afrobeats fan. I'm an Afrobeats any day. For me, Afrobeats any day. I'll be there. Afrobeats, I'm a piano every day and I'll be there. So he plays that and I'm all vibing and I'm singing along and whatever. And to be honest with you, there's this something, this is just the random. Anyways, there's this something in men when they can sing pigeon. You know how calm down, calm down. I find that so sexy. So if they're able to sing, because I don't know, I find it really like, oh, okay, we see you, we see you, we see you, whatever. But anyways, so we go for dinner and we have conversations. Everything is good. After the dinner, we go somewhere around the beach to have conversations, and we all are having conversations. And then this one time, one of the guys is like, oh, talks to the my friends like, oh, do you want to go somewhere else? So it leaves me and this guy in one space, right? So we basically have conversations, and these were like mere conversations where he was just asking me about my course, and I was just pouring my heart out to the love I had for my course at the time. And yeah, so I meet this guy a month, literally a month before I go back to home to visit home, right? And so after this day, we exchanged numbers that day, and so I think 2 days later he texts me. He's like, "Oh, do you want to meet up for dinner or lunch, whatever? We could just do things on our own without the others." And I'm like, "Okay, I guess nothing wrong with that. Let's go." And I'm always there to eat good food, so I went. And so we met like 2 or 3 times. I think the fourth time he was like, "Oh, do you want to come to my house?" I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." So he showed me around his house, and it was a really cute house, cool grip, and nothing more. And then, fast forward, it's 2 weeks before I go back home, and so he leaves for Nigeria because he had to go home for whatever reasons that I forgot. He told me, but I think it was business related, whatever, because he had a business here. And so I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. He goes. But then when he goes to Nigeria, this is around the time when Nigeria was going through strikes in 2024. And I don't remember what exactly those strikes were. But the communication is now weird because this is a person who would call me like every day and check up on me. But this time he doesn't. And I'm thinking, oh, it's probably because of like you know, the long, the different time zones. And to be honest, at that time, I was also very smitten because this guy was literally love bombing me, and that was the first time anyone has ever love bombed me. Like, send me gifts, send me money, whatever money amount I want, he just sends. I was definitely, there's no way I wouldn't be smitten. I'm definitely smitten. So obviously recognize that, okay, the communication is weird, but at the time I'm not really paying attention to that because I'm also preparing to go home in 2 weeks since I'm really busy with stuff, buying stuff for my family, working, whatever, trying to get my money in check, stuff like that. So I'm not really paying attention to that. So days, sometimes he wouldn't talk to me for 2 days and I wouldn't even notice because I'm also busy on my end, right? But then there's this one specific time where he called me and was like, "Oh, I haven't been online because, oh, we're going through this thing. We're in Nigeria right now because of the strike, so they are not allowing us to have access to the internet, and so I can't really be on the internet some of the days." I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But then also another weird thing that goes on that I'm not really paying attention to at the time is he tells me he's at his uncle's place, and he told me he's in his late 29s and he has his own houses. He would show them off. Like, I have this house in the state, whatever. And he tells me he's sleeping at his house, his uncle's house, and so when he's at his uncle's house, he really can't be talking to me like that. And I'm like, okay, I don't get it because you're in your like 29s. If I was back home and I was to talk with my boyfriend or a guy on a phone in the presence of my father, he wouldn't give a damn. And I'm like, so why is your uncle giving a damn? But I wasn't really paying attention to that. I was like, okay, whatever, I just want to get home. And I was excited about that. So all of these things were not on my mind. Fine, fast forward, I go home in 2 weeks, and then when I get home, the communication gets worse. And when I went to back home, he came back to Japan like 2 days after I had left. And so he calls me and tells me, okay, from now on, please don't call me after 5 p.m. because I came with my brother because my business is going through some shit right now and I can't really be talking to you while he's there. And in my mind, I'm like, and when he said that, I remember because now I have all the time in my world. I'm home, right? I recognize the trend in his behavior, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I remember the time he said that day, I literally disconnected from this whole thing, and I was like, okay, this guy is really acting weird. I'm not gonna stop whatever is going on between us right now. I'm just gonna be doing my own shit in the backyard. So I was also doing some stuff like back home, meeting some guys, hanging out with other people, guys at home, because I was just like, and I remember my intention at first was I was not gonna do that. But when I heard him say that, I was like, that's definitely pretty weird. Because I'm like, bro, you're in your late 29s. Why would your brother care? Your brother, why would he care? But anyways, I'm like, whatever. So he goes through that whole thing. He calls me at his own times just before 5 p.m. by the way, in Japan. And I'm thinking this is before 5 p.m. because after 5 p.m. he goes home, right? But I'm not really paying attention to those things because I don't care. And so a month later, I come back to Japan. And when I come back to Japan, he still continues with the whole thing of like after 5 p.m., I shouldn't call him. And this time, he doesn't invite me to his house. He's like, oh, we go out for dinner, lunch, like we always do. But sometimes he'd be like, oh, let's go to my house. I'll cook for you there. But this time, he doesn't anymore. He even suggests, can I come to your house? And I'm like, that's weird because you told me you're not the type of person who comes to girls' house. And I'm like, what's going on? But then I don't say it out loud. And then this other time when I'm in school, I was basically like just walking around like African girls, and I hear them speaking about this guy from Nigeria. Apparently, this guy has like two girls, and they were talking about him. And I'm like, and one of the girls is like, yeah, and that guy is old as fuck. He's literally in his like late 30s. And I'm like, really? I don't know, because for me, I'm not really good with telling people's ages like that until I see wrinkles on your face. That's how old I can tell. But some people look young, but some people can really tell, oh, this person is in his 30s and this person is in 29, in his late 29s. And I can't do that. I can only tell when someone is old, right? And so for me, when he told me he's in his late 20s, I believed that. So when I heard this, I called him. I'm like, hey, So I overheard a conversation of some girls here at school, and this is what they're saying. And he goes in like defense mode and starts shouting. So the reaction to how he reacted was very sus to me, and I'm like, okay, relax, like chill. Like, and he plays the victim card of like, I don't even know what these girls want from me, whatever. I'm not even a student there, like, and I'm like, bro, chill. Do you know these people that they're talking about? And he tells me, no, I don't know. The only reason I come to Bepu is because I want to see you. That's why. I'm like, okay, whatever. No one is fighting, whatever, right? And so this whole thing continues where he calls me 5 p.m. whatever, and I'm like, already I'm detached. I'm just like, okay, this guy. And I think at that time I'm in the mode where I'm like, okay, I really want to see what's going on with this guy, and I know time will tell. But then uh what happens again is we have to go to dinner, oh, lunch, because he can't go to dinner with me anymore. We now go for what? Lunches, because after 5 p.m. he has to be home to his brother. And then I remember one time we were supposed to meet at around 11, and so I canceled all my plans and I'm waiting for this person. He doesn't. It's even past 11 now. Come 12, come 1 p.m., come 2 p.m., come 3 p.m., come 4 p.m. This guy hasn't called me and he hasn't even responded to my calls, and I canceled all my plans. So I obviously got angry. So I call him like, bro, if you were not gonna show up, you should have told me. Or if you were caught up with like work or something, you could have just told me, because I canceled all my plans for these and something that wasn't even supposed to happen. And he was like, oh, there, I'm sorry and whatever. And I was like, bruh, like, this behavior that's going on is really getting weird and I really don't like it. Like, stop, right? And then he's like, I'm sorry, I'll make it up to you on Wednesday. Wednesday, he does the same thing. And that's where I lost it. And I was like, bro, I'm really like, this whole thing, to be honest, you've been acting really weird. Telling me to call you at 5 p.m. We can't even meet for dinner or whatever. We are strictly meeting for for lunch only. I can't call you at night, whatever. I'm supposed to wait for your calls. It's getting weird. And I'm hearing all these things about you, and I'm just like, I don't even know. I don't think I know who you are. And so I'm like, I really don't. So he gets into a defense mode and like, he starts shouting. I'm like, why are you always talking? Why are you always trying to fight? Whatever. Blah 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 blah. And he was like, if you really can't, if you can believe what other people are saying about me, then maybe we should stop whatever we're doing. And I'm like, oh really? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, fine, then let's stop whatever we're doing, because to be honest, my peace of mind is more important, and currently in this moment right now, I'm not really getting my peace of mind. And so, and then he dropped the call, and we dropped the call, we stopped talking for 2 weeks, right? And in my mind, I'm like, I stop whatever is going on, so it's clear that we are not gonna have a conversation anymore. And then I don't know how, but like 2 weeks later, I have a conversation with this other girl, and she tells me, oh, what was going on between you and Mr. Z? And I'm like, oh, I don't really tell the specifics, but I'm like, oh, I just used to know him. He's like, oh, yeah, because this guy is married and he has kids. And then everything started coming back. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, what in the hell? But at the same time, it's not coming from a place of being hurt, because remember, I detached from this person a long time ago. I know at the beginning when I met this person, I was all head over heels because I was being loved, bombed, and everything. But then when I found out about this, I wasn't even hurt. It was just the, what in the hell is going, like, what the fuck, like, why would he lie? That was my at the time, that was how I was taking it. And I was like, what? Like, that's so weird. And for the first time, I've never been lied to about being married. I'm like, men back home, they tell you I'm married, and you have a choice that, okay, if you're married, I'm gonna be with you, or you're married, okay, cool, I don't want to be with married women. They give you a choice. But that was the first time I ever met anyone who had to lie like that about their their life. And the thing is, now everything started coming back, like, okay, so when he's still telling me that, oh, after 5 p.m., don't call me at night, whatever, where everything was now like strictly arranged into this time, then it started coming out that that must be when his wife was there. And I know at the time I met him. And so what I think is that this guy, when he came back from Nigeria, he came back with his wife, because at the time before he went to Nigeria, everything was cool. And I had even went to his house. And when I went to his house, it was literally a man's house. You can tell that this person's house, it doesn't have a touch of a woman. You can really tell when someone's house has like that touch of a woman. But anyways, I was like, okay, I guess I just got scammed. Kill me now. And then I think a month later or 2 months later, but it was really in a while, because I had even forgotten about him or anything. But also at the time when I broke everything up, I was like, um I was pissed at the fact that you can't keep on disturbing my times, like, oh, I'll meet at this time and then never show up. That's pretty weird to me. That was the reason, right? But then after I did and I was done with this person, that's when I found out he's married. So it was a shock, but also a shock of like, why would anyone do that, you know? And so yeah. And so a month later, 2 months later, he calls me and I answer the call. And mind you, at this time I've deleted the number and I really didn't know his numbers like that. And I'm like, hello. And he's like, hi. And I'm like, who is this? And he's like, this is Mr. Z. And I'm like, okay, what do you want? And he's like, oh, can we fix whatever happened between us, you know? And I'm like, no, but you have a wife. Why are we supposed to fix this? This guy literally dropped his phone. He was like, because when I told him, okay, we should stop whatever is going on between us, he didn't know. At the time, of course, didn't know that he was married. But also at the time, he knew I didn't know that he's married. And so then I think about the first time I met this guy. He did ask me the type of men I'm into. And I remember specifically telling him that. I only said, oh, I don't want married men. I don't like married men. That's exactly what I think he picked it up from there and was like, okay, so she doesn't want married men. I'm definitely a single man from now on, just for her until she finds out. So that's basically what happened. How I was basically dating a married man without even knowing, or how I was gonna date a married man without even knowing. Nigerian men for you. Are you shocked? Honestly, show me, are you shocked? Because I'm not. Because I've seen this in like a lot of Nollywood movies. I've seen this a lot. Like there's always a storyline of a man who is hiding his family somewhere. But I never really thought it's actually true. When I experienced this, I was like, wow, I guess it's true. I guess this thing about Nigerian men is true. But anyways, that's the end of my story, guys. I hope you guys can share in the comment section if you have any stories of Nigerian men, any experiences of Nigerian men, I guess, or any man, because all these African men are crazy, especially African men who leave their own countries and go abroad, where they basically are far away from their families. They basically start new families and their families back home are not knowing. Like these men are like, they ain't shit. They really ain't shit. Anyways, Chummy, this was from me, Diary of Daffy, and with love, I love you. Bye.